I was going to actually ask you that. What does it take to be a good presenter?
Well, preparation's not most important. To work in TV's not. To work in TV's two different things. So I'm a producer and a presenter. If you want to be a producer, you've got to. I think you've got to. First of all, number one's ideas. That's the main. That's the main currency of television. You've got to have the ideas. If you're going to come up with, if it's a magazine show, you've got to think of all the items. If it's a comedy show, think of the comedy. If it's a reality TV show, you've got to come up with the idea that people want to watch, people in Essex or Chelsea or whatever it is. It's the idea. And then you have to make sure you've done the preparation for it, so you know all about it, and you've got all the knowledge on your chosen subjects I've said there. So, you know, as a producer, the other thing you need to do is you've got to spot trends of what's happening with the public, and I think this is quite an important thing. You've got to Chris Evans, I think, is brilliant at hearing what the public are interested in, and Chris will sort of go, you know, one minute he'll be just really talking about football because the whole public are excited about Euro 96 or something, you know what I mean? So he knows that. Or he'll see the Olympics coming along, like we all did, but he's very clever, and he'll go Olympic mad, and he's very clever at catching what's going on in the public to make it exciting. And I think it's a job of someone who works in TV to spot the trends, because, you know, things move on. As I said, Leonard Rossiter, you know, was the biggest star in the country. I'm sure there was a time at the end of his career where he probably was struggling to get as much work as he did at the beginning of his career. And so you've got to spot all the trends and see what's going on. So be very aware. And for me, I do, you know, I spend a ton of time online and magazines and papers and stuff, reading to see what's happening and what's going on and what people are thinking. I find it quite exhausting sometimes because now it's online. There's a never-ending source. It used to be papers, magazines, a few odds and sods, you know, and talking to people and coming out and seeing the world. Now online, I mean, sometimes I get involved in just searching Japanese culture. I mean, it doesn't stop. It's like stuff which happens in Japan is amazing. Or South Korea, just, and you get caught up in it, and you start, it's incredible. And bizarrely, the world's got smaller with the internet, so you have to release a record. So years ago, we would be sitting over here, TV things, seeing what's happening in America. Now it happens at the same time, but then there's all the other cultures which are coming along. What's happening in Africa? What's happening in Asia? What's happening, you know? So it's an interesting thing, spotting the trends and what's happening and stuff, and then trying to. I'll tell you a good example of that. I was on Twitter one day and I just sort of said to people, what's going on in the world of music? And just one tweet caught my eye which said, in South Korea, this song's gone mad, and it was Gangnam Style. So I looked at it and I thought it was funny, and I could see it had a gazillion, or something ridiculous amount of millions of views, but nothing happening really in the West, but all happening in South Korea and Asia and Japan and places like that. So I started researching it, and it was all saying, you know, huge K-pop. So I said to the producers of my show on Sunday, we need to get this on. So we got a K-pop girl to come on, and bizarrely, there's footage of me doing Gangnam early. Now I'm embarrassed about it, but I saw it happening. I didn't realise it would come as big, and I just thought it was a funny thing which was happening in Asia. So we wanted to sort of do it, but, you know, I think to get on a TV, you've got to be slightly obsessed with.